Okay, I don't know if I'm live. If you're there, please hit a thumbs up because I don't know. I could be just talking to myself over here. I was trying to go live on my phone so I could show you guys that it was sunny here in South Texas for the first time in 3 days, but I don't even know if anybody's there. Just shortly after I finished my live stream earlier today, I went onto one of the local church websites to see if I could sign up as a volunteer. And I found out, oh, yay. So there are people here. Okay. So I am actually not just here talking to myself. I found out that that church has had their PayPal spoofed. And there are actually, as I looked through the internet, there were a lot of different places that were saying that there are scams going on as far as flood relief goes. So again, I've put it right at the top of the description of this video. There are two websites that are the preferred websites for people to go to donate funds for the flood relief. One of them is tcr.communityos.org, and the other one is the Community Flood Relief Organization, and both of those websites are right there, communityfoundation.net. They're right there in the description of this video. Those are the only two places that are sanctioned by the Sheriff's Department and by the different organizations that are there in the county trying to provide flood relief for the people who need it the most. So please don't send Venmos, PayPals to any church or organization that you don't know, that you haven't spoken with personally on the phone, because again, a couple of churches at least have had their payment information spoofed by scammers. The other thing is that a lot of families of victims have also been scammed, contacted by organizations or individuals saying that, they've seen their children and they're willing to transport them for money or something like that. So just be aware, there are lots of scammers. Every time there's a natural disaster of any kind, there are all kinds of scammers coming forward trying to collect whatever money that they can, which of course is despicable and disgusting. But just wanted to put this out there again, that the only two websites that are recommended by the Sheriff's Department and by the community there in Kerrville are listed in the description of this video. And please make sure that you're not sending money to anybody else. I also just wanted to leave you with a little bit of good news, if that's possible. There was an interesting article that was in the Texas Monthly, and I want to share this with you real quick. This is an article about this camp counselor who was a staff member at Camp La Junta, which was one of the camps that was most severely affected by this flooding. And he tells his story here of getting out. And his name is Owen. It says, the night of the flood, Owen was awakened by the popping sounds of pipes snapping as his cabin, which housed 3 other staffers, washed into the river. Some news services have carried this video, and I'll show it to you here. This is a video of that cabin floating down the river, and you can see flashlight coming from inside the cabin. All of the people inside that cabin survived, and they were able to, when the cabin was lodged against a tree, they were able to get out of the cabin and get to higher ground. And then they also were able to rescue another camper, a little girl from one of the other camps that was nearby. So I'll go back and just continue to finish his story. He said, that's my boy with the flashlight at the front door of the moving cabin. Miraculously, the cabin floated only about 100 yards before becoming wedged between a fallen tree and a wall, allowing 4 staffers to get out and go help campers and counselors. When they arrived at some of the other cabins, they discovered counselors treading water while hoisting their campers into the rafters of the collapsing cabins. They helped systematically account for each camper, got the children out of the rafters and through the floodwaters, dangerously full of debris, and shepherded them to higher ground. Owen is still a little incredulous at the efficiency with which they all moved up the hill in pitch darkness, with occasional light from a cell phone. Someone spotted a young Mystic camper washing up near La Junta's campsite. Against all odds, and thanks to swift action by La Junta's camp directors, the girl was okay. A state trooper retrieved her later in the day. La Junta's dining hall was flattened, so food and water was delivered by helicopter from an anonymous local Hill Country resident. This will be Owen's story for the rest of his life. Exhausted, he went home to Austin for one night, but he returned to Hunt, Texas, the next morning to help with any cleanup. He's back home again today. There, of course, is no longer any place to stay in Hunt. So I just want to share at least one good news story with you of those camp counselors. I just can't imagine treading water, hoisting those kids up from the water into the rafters and likely having to dive back down into the water to make sure they accounted for everybody. So really brave young people. And so please just be very careful of giving to any organizations that you don't personally know, and use the links in the description of this video if you want to donate to the Flood Relief Fund. And again, I will keep you posted on everything that is happening here on my channel. Thanks so much for being here, guys.